About today's scrimmage, and then we'll take questions.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. We did have a little bit of a delay there with the lightning, and the guys handled it well, so we had a chance to really work through that. There might be delays during the season, so that was an opportunity that we hadn't planned, but we got a chance to work through it. And about an hour later, we got started. We took a little bit out of some special teams that we were planning on doing, so we started the scrimmage earlier and made it a point just to get some of the plays in with offense and defense, and we were able to do that tonight. I think we got about 100 plays. We were able to work good on good through the scrimmage, and so each group got roughly around 35 plays, all three groups, 1, 2s, and 3s, and we were able to kick some field goals in there tonight as well, so we got 9 to 10 field goals. But overall, good work. And most importantly, we got a chance to go play football, let these guys tackle, ball security. We had officials out there tonight, so just looking at what are the penalties, some of those issues that are going to come up in that first scrimmage so we can go back and learn from it, coach from it. And then this week, we've been working really hard on just preparing ourselves for that scrimmage. Tomorrow we'll clean everything up, and then these guys start school. And so their focus is going to be on just finishing camp tomorrow and then getting themselves prepared for school. And we'll get into a little bit of our in-season schedule with a little bit of camp still to go. So some extra meetings along the way. Another scrimmage the following Friday. And then really that'll be our 2 scrimmages, and then really into our first opponent, and then just making the depth chart and putting together our plans for that first game and be focused on that. But overall, I told the guys, plenty of things to clean up, plenty of work to do. There's always going to be things that we can improve on, but we had a good time out there playing, and I think that's the most important thing. These guys have been working hard. This is practice 8. They got a chance to cut it loose, so the emotions, the sidelines, the communication, all those things that come up in a game, we were able to prepare or practice that so we can prepare better in the next scrimmage on some of those things that we have to improve. But I thought the operation was good from the sideline. I thought the communication from the coaches went well. Having the officials out there and being able to adjust to some of the penalties and how we responded gives us an opportunity to work on those. And then now moving forward, it's just we got to put together a little bit of a depth chart on special teams. We'll start working some 1s and 2s a little bit more on the offense, figure out where some of those 3s fit in, and prepare that way as we go into that second scrimmage. So, but a great night. Still, even with the delay and all those other things, playing football, we love it, and these guys enjoyed it. So I think they're walking out of here just with a lot to learn, but still excited about this season, excited about having a chance to play and just preparing themselves for September 4th. So with that, open up for questions.
First question, Coach, from Jason Caldwell.
Bryan, we always heard that, your defense is usually ahead early on. What was kind of your take of the defense tonight, and especially that front, kind of seeing how things fit together up front?
Yeah, I would say that's true. And same case. Now, we got into a red zone portion of the scrimmage, and so the ball was placed at the 25, 23. So it gave the offense the advantage from the field position side. And the offense scored, did some good things down there. But overall, I thought the D-line played pretty well. I thought our linebackers, they were hitting it downhill, and then there were some negative plays that the defense created. And I thought that front 7 did well. Secondary, some good things back there. A few explosive plays, but they came back. There was a couple turnovers as well in the scrimmage. But overall, I thought defensively, what I was really looking for just the effort on the defensive side. You want to see these guys make plays, but I want to see the effort. And then I want to see these guys, that just the process in between each play. Because I feel like on the defense, from an offensive standpoint, they got so much that they have to communicate and adjust each and every play, formations. They're really defending whatever the offense is doing. So those guys communicating that focus, and then when the ball is snapped, really just that effort and just being relentless to the ball. And they did a good job tonight. They created some turnovers, so they went up and got them. There were some balls thrown that they went up and got. And then I think we had a fumble, maybe 2, I don't have the stats with me, but I know we had one, maybe two fumbles they caused, and that to me for the defense, and when they're able to do that, they can create takeaways, opportunities like that because they're playing hard, which is why it happened. They're just getting to the ball. Good things happen. They showed that tonight. So felt good about a lot of the plays that the defense had, and creating those turnovers. Those are obviously going to be game changing when we go play for real. But overall, good. And one thing, like I told the guys, it's never as good as you think. It's never as bad. So we'll watch the tape. Plenty of stuff to correct, and we'll see what that looks like tomorrow when we sit down and watch the film with everyone.
Next, Justin Hokanson.
Hey, Bryan, obviously you talk about the front seven on defense seemingly having a decent night. How do you then evaluate the offensive line play? Obviously that's a big focus. How did they do in your eyes?
Yeah, solid at times. I think this, a little inconsistent. I stand back and just know my vantage point here. I stand back behind the offense, and I get to see the quarterback. I get to watch the O-line. I get to watch the protection in the backs. And so, I kind of see every little thing, and I'm pretty critical of that group. They did move the ball. We ran the ball. They did come off the ball. They did strike. We missed some blocks in there. We just flat out missed them. It wasn't, and it was really just, we got to communicate it. So those things, we have to correct. A couple penalties that we had, some false starts that, we'll get corrected. We need to address and continue that moving forward, and they'll see that. But overall, there were some good things that they did better in pass protection. I thought we were able to run the ball and get downhill in the scrimmage, so there was some positive that way. And I think for the O-line, it's always about consistency. When you've got the D-line right up in your face, and you've got guys trying to get off and penetrate, like we're going to see, you got to be really, really good up front. And I think our O-line is improved. Now, as we move forward, it's got to be the consistency from those guys up front, that we have got to handle our assignments, and we've got to make sure that we're on the right people, and then just being physical. At the end of the day, just being physical. We got to come off. We got to strike, and we've got to be able to move the line of scrimmage to be able to run the ball the way we want to, and we did that at times. We want to be more consistent up front. So we've improved, but we're not where we need to be, and our guys know that. And I think that's the best thing about that group right now is they're willing to work. I do like that about that group. And so this next week, we still have time to keep improving, and I expect as we get in that second scrimmage that we'll make those corrections and we'll be better up front, and we'll have that consistency that we're looking for.
Ryan Hennessy.
Coach, so far through, you said eight practices, the progression of the quarterback, you kind of talked about already, but a lot of fans are wondering what this Bryan Harsin offense is going to look like. Is there an opportunity where you would have two quarterbacks playing on September 4th, or are you kind of sticking to one guy by the end of this with the depth chart?
Yeah, well, come September 4th, I've done that before, so that's not out of possibilities. And let's be clear, that's not what we're working towards right now. I mean, right now we're developing each quarterback to go out there and play the position and be the quarterback. I've used multiple quarterbacks for situational things, and because guys deserve to play at that position. I've coached some good players, starters and backups. As far as the offense goes, again, we're in that part of camp right now where it's a lot of the base. It's repeating a lot of the base, and the run game, the protections, the pass game. It's really a lot of the things right now that are our base that we can build from and add on to moving forward. But the most important thing, not so much scheme wise, is the fundamentals of those guys in those positions. We just talked about the O-line. And part of that is our assignment, and part of that is making sure that when we know our assignment, we don't miss it, and we're able to execute it, and we can go out there and just play the basic fundamentals of the game at a high level. And so we're still working through that. I would say this: The wide receivers tonight, I thought, really made a lot of progress, and it showed up in the scrimmage. They caught the ball well. They were able to catch and get some yards after catch. I thought they had some good plays in some critical moments on third downs. They went up and got it, and they've been doing that in practice. One of the things tonight that showed up, some the things that we've seen in practice from that wide receiver position, going up and getting it, making some of the catches that they have in practice, that carried over into the scrimmage tonight. So there was a positive there as far as, we talked about consistency a few days ago with that group, but there was a positive tonight about these guys making some plays, and we need to build on that. And I thought the quarterbacks made good decisions as far as getting them the ball and some of those throws. And then, like I said before, there was some turnovers created, some that we probably created on the offensive side, and some that our defense, were able to go out there and make. So all the time at the quarterback position, it really comes down to decision making, and that's a huge part of what we're working through now. Just learning again. It's still making progress every day as far as what we're doing, learning. All right, the proper way to execute the offense, how it needs to look each and every play, every practice, and then making great decisions on the field. When you go out there and it's time to play, you got to make great decisions. You got to make sure that you're putting your team in the best position to win and taking care of the football, making the right checks, knowing what you're doing, and that goes back to our preparation. That goes back to the day-to-day of just having ourselves ready every time we go out there on the field and practice, so it shows up in a game. And there's some really good things tonight at that position, at the quarterback position. I thought all the guys ran the ball well, did some things, threw the ball well at times, and there's plenty to correct. So that'll be the focus with that position moving forward this week is the decision-making process.
We have time for two more. First, Mark Murphy.
Yes. How did Demetrius Robertson do in his first action with you guys? And also, any surprises on anything tonight?
Well, he's actually had some action with us through the spring as well. So he did well. He did some things really well. He threw the ball well. He can throw it well. He moves well. He had a few runs that were designed that he could pull it and kind of pump faked maybe 2 yards down the field. I don't know who he got. He got somebody. But he's got a little bit of that. He's just got some gamesmanship when he's out there, and I like that. And he's what I would say where D's at right now is he understands better now he's been in it. He's improved from being through spring and summer, and now he's able to go out there and just kind of play the position, not think as much, and just go out there, play and react, and use his abilities to throw it, run it, and move around in the pocket. So I thought there were some good things tonight from him, and I liked his energy on the field, and it seemed like he was out there having fun, and he was, had a good idea and grasp of the things that we were doing each and every drive, and made some good decisions out there. So he's progressed. I don't know, what was your last part of your question?
Was I actually asking about Demetrius Robertson, the wide receiver?
Oh,
and
yes.
Surprises.
Yeah. Well, I just told you about Demetrius Davis, so there you go. All right. Yeah, that's a bonus. Demetrius Robertson, yeah, he was good tonight. I think he had several catches in there. There's one over the middle. He can roll. He can, and he had one that he got a chance to catch and run with, and he's picked things up well offensively, and I think he's studied. He's been studying. He's spent time each evening, going back over his notes and preparing himself. So I thought it might have taken him a little bit more time to pick things up, but he's excelled in the last few days especially. He showed up on a few of our practice tapes. We pulled some things out, some highlights from practice, take a look at it. He's been on there a couple times and did some good things tonight as well. We got to keep working him in. He's probably not as multiple as he could be right now, but as he's progressing and now we got a chance to watch him go out there and scrimmage and do some live work, we can use him in probably some other positions because I do think he's picked things up pretty well.
Last question is from Alvaro Torres.
Hi, Coach Harsin. How are you? Well, my question is, you have to face the third toughest schedule in the SEC, including back-to-back games at Baton Rouge, where Auburn hasn't won in 2 decades, and the home versus Georgia. How do you prepare your team for such gauntlets, and what is the key to keeping your players mentally fresh and motivated for each new game, no matter what the results may be?
Right. Yeah, you're talking about those two teams and the schedule in general. I think those are going to happen later in the year, and those two games in particular, as you're talking about, obviously, in my opinion, they're all big. I know what you're asking me, but the best way to prepare is to do what we're doing right now, and that whole idea of the 1-0, the whole idea of just that day, the task at hand. It really does keep us focused on the things that we really actually need to be doing in order to prepare ourselves to play in those games eventually and be successful. And I know it sounds boring, but that to me, over time, that's one of the keys is, how do we just stay in the moment? How do we maximize that day and the work that we have in front of us and make sure that's the focus and not be looking too far ahead and just waiting for those moments to come up, because they're going to be exciting. We all know that. But looking forward to tomorrow and what we have to learn from this scrimmage and how we can improve. And so to answer your question, that's the challenge. The challenge is how do you keep not just your players, your coaches, and everybody in this program motivated daily to do their jobs at a high level and execute at a high level day in and day out, so that when you get into those moments, those moments as you're talking about, those bigger moments, like you've done this multiple times. This is the way you operate. This is how you do things. Hopefully this is how we do things. I think it just goes back to the kind of people that you have. And first of all, I think you want to surround yourself with people that want to be the best at what they do. And, somebody you tell them, hey, do your job, they probably have one reaction. Other people you say, do your job, they're going to do it. And they're going to want to do it at a high level, and they're going to want to try to master it. So it's really just educating the players on, what does it take to be successful? What does it look like, and what does it act like every single day? And just trying to build those habits of this is what success is day in and day out, football, life, whatever. And hopefully those guys continue to build those habits that are going to become a part of this football team. They're going to become a part of their lives in academics and the things they do away from the program, and eventually whatever they do when football is over. So, and I'm a big believer in that. I think that is one of the keys to being successful is just learning what it takes day in and day out to actually do that type of work at a high level. And, that's how you have success. And just look at so many folks that have made it that, in the beginning weren't predicted to do that. Well, how do they do that? They work. They do it day in and day out. They're focused every single day on whatever it is they have to do, and they're trying to be the very best at it. So that's the message. And whatever game we play, whatever the schedule is, whatever back-to-backs that we have, they're all going to be difficult. And I think we know that. It's just a matter of, do we act like that every day so that we're preparing for that. So when it comes time, it's not a moment where it's too big for us. This is just what we do. And like I said, hopefully this is how we do things. So that's been the message. That will be the message. That will be consistent. And, tomorrow we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go back to work and focus on the task at hand and the things we have to improve. And we'll get on to that Tuesday practice. Monday will be off. That Tuesday practice, we'll get to work towards that. We'll sprinkle in a few things in that first game that we want to work on, and we'll get back out there on the field and start preparing ourselves to have a great Tuesday practice. that afternoon, so we can just focus on that and be better.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.